What's up, man?
What's up, Phil? What's up,
Not too
everybody?
much. Hello, everyone.
Chat was lively. Pre-stream gang.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they're all over it.
They were
Wow,
all in there having a good time,
they
chatting it
are.
up. If you want to
Yes,
be a
they
part of
are.
that, you want to hop over to YouTube before the show. They're usually in there half hour, a day
Yeah,
before. They are
it's like they
just
post early, like the people that are going to like the Apple store the 2 days before the phone comes out.
yeah, they and stand in line for the Harry Potter book at midnight.
Yeah, exactly. Because at
I saw you there doing that.
yeah at 10 o'clock in the morning they won't have any.
Barnes and Noble, yeah. Hey, it's a new week.
It is a new week. We had an interesting week. There weren't too many repercussions of last week's show, but there was some.
Yeah,
Nah,
it's like I
nothing.
think we did a stand up job reading the news.
Yeah, and I have some more news today.
You know, and we had
Then
some.
we're going to talk a little bit about goals for league and aspirations if you want to be
Mm-hmm.
a staffer.
Yeah,
And you have
over
a pretty big
YouTube.
slideshow, don't you?
I do
Is
spend
that
a
your
lot of
career
time on it.
biggest?
It might be. It might
Personal
be.
best, right? Personal best slideshow?
Yeah, I,
Yeah,
I went above and beyond because
you
no one's
did.
really laid out groundwork for any of
No,
it.
and you know what? That's interesting that you say that. Everybody has interest in either becoming an influencer or a staffer, but there really isn't any step by step way to follow it. You sort of laid out here's the
Yeah,
map.
usually the conversation starts out like, "Hey, I'd really like to get into doing videos. What can I do
Right.
to get some bowling balls sent my way?" That's how the
Yeah.
conversation usually starts.
It always is that way. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
this hopefully will help give a little bit more of a path
Or be a dream crusher.
or be a dream killer once you actually see what it takes.
What's your taste? This is it. I'm gonna crush you like a grape.
Man, oh man. But
So
yeah, it's going to be a very educational show.
yeah.
I know the teacher of our group usually is Stevie Fresh, but I'm looking to take over the crown this week with with the
Forget
most
it.
in-depth,
Yeah.
lucid
Yeah.
uh, PowerPoint there is.
It was
But
a
we'll
well
see.
thought out, lucid PowerPoint.
We'll see. I mean, it's up to
Overruled.
it's up to the people watching. Really, it
No,
comes
no,
down to
that's
that.
true. And that's what makes all of our podcasts interesting. Is what the people feel about it. We got a lot of good I got some phone calls last week and some really good feedback on the podcast. People liked
What
it.
What about the one interesting voicemail you got? Someone interested in a product you're
Yeah,
pushing?
somebody called up to become an exclusive distributor of Tampa Away.
Sold out across the whole distributor network.
So now, yeah, exactly.
Tamper away for all your
Tampa Away
tampering needs.
for all your tampering needs. So anyway, we got some news. You want to get into that?
Nope, I don't. I want to get into the
Oh,
woo
we got to
box.
do the housekeeping. I keep forgetting. It's like my
That's
first
right.
show,
Mm-hmm.
episode 117. Who would have thunk it,
Not me.
right? So
Hey,
you know
and
the
we're
rules.
also
Go
we're
ahead.
also 100 episodes from the time that we first tested the Purple Hammer, and I think that might have been the first
Right.
time we talked about Purple Hammer in depth. But
Yeah, and it's been a topic, still ongoing
100
topic.
episodes later, we're not
Yeah,
going to talk about it today.
no, no, not at all. Um, the woo box goes up. You put your name in it, and in about an hour, it closes. And at that point, sometime right after that, Nick will pick a random name from his random name list. He's trying to focus again. It's unbelievable how
I
bad
think I
his
think I think the
cinematography is.
I think the wheel is out of focus. I'm in focus. It's trying to equal out. It's fine.
Okay, so put your name in it. He'll randomly pick a name. You'll have 90 seconds to verify it's you and that you're in. And then we'll spin the wheel. You pick if you're a contestant, you're not guaranteed a winner. We have the whammy on board, which is 6 times whammy has come into play. And if you get whammied, he's got the pen ready. If you get whammied, you're out. You pick another name. If you don't like the prize, you can spin again. But again, remember, you could get whammied. If you go grip sack and pick another grip sack, we'll let you spin a third time. And the ultimate prize would be grip sack, whammy. That would be like
or the triple grip sack.
or the triple grip stack.
But we've been giving out some good prizes last few
Yeah,
weeks.
lately.
They've escaped the whammy. They have
Right.
gotten, I think, a ball, and they got shoes the last 2 weeks.
That's right.
So,
Last two were balls and shoes. Very, very lucrative prizes.
yeah. So you just got to stay away from the whammy. That's all. What are you calling today?
Let's do. Give me something in red. What do we got down there?
Grip sack and
No,
grip
let's
sack.
go. Let's go. I don't know. I can't read. It's out of focus.
Which one you want? What color?
I'll take the grip sack.
You got grip sack? All right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to go chamois.
Chamois grip sack. In the unfocused wheel. Here we go. Grip sack, whammy. Grip sack. There it is. Oh, shirt. That's 2 weeks in a row. The shirt came up in the
practice
free spin. Yeah, the practice spin.
I mean, maybe it's a sign we're going to give away another good prize.
That's it. Yeah.
That's all it can be, right?
What does your shirt say? Be original?
Yeah. Don't steal content.
People do that?
Yes. Yes.
Don't be that guy.
Yes.
Let's do some news.
Did you say the news?
I did.
All
I
right,
did say the news.
I wasn't prepared.
All right.
It's the striking news. Bowling news and views from around the world with your hosts, Brunsnick and Phil Cardinelli. It's the striking news.
Dun-dun-dun. So Larry Verbal won a PBA regional this weekend. PBA 50 regional. Legacy Lanes Central Open. The Legacy Lane Central Open. He's won a bunch of regionals. It's not like his first. He's been around a while.
It's not his first rodeo.
It's not his first rodeo, cowboy. Tomorrow is the release date on the bowling balls, right?
That's right.
Black Widow Tour V1.
Yep. Not to be confused with the Tour V1X, which is a little harder, right?
Right, exactly.
You're like, what?
What? The Maximum Effect, another hammer ball. The Ebonite 1 Ovation. And the DV8 Mantra Solid.
That's right. We were just talking about these balls last week.
Talked about them last week. And, it sort of got overrun with the other topic of last week was the USBC or protecting the game and all of that stuff. Tampa Away, the kits are sold out. They're on back order. It's a very popular item. Very popular item.
Yeah, it's a very novel idea. I can't believe nobody ever thought of it before. But now we have the groundwork laid out. So
that's right.
There's all the products. Yeah. No, I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to do it before.
No. It's a good thing USBC told us ahead of time. Some people, not us.
Not us.
Were not happy with the podcast last week and voiced their unhappiness. It did not affect us in the least. It's always the people who complain are the ones that are usually at fault, and they don't like the repercussions or the truth. The truth hurts sometimes. So we're not going to talk about that this week because we still haven't heard any of the results from any of the previous 9 or 10 changes that USBC has made to the game for allegedly the betterment of the game, but yet there are no results of the oil absorption or the weight hole being removed or the RG being changed.
Integrity.
So I'd like to hear that one day, if they want to come out and tell us some of the results of the changes that they've made that affected the business of bowling as well as the sport of bowling. But we have not seen any results. In fact, the taking away the balance hole, did that accomplish what they were trying to accomplish?
Right.
Did changing the oil absorption rate accomplish what they were trying to accomplish?
Yeah. What was the problem, and did it solve it?
And did it solve it? That's all I want to know. Just tell me it did.
Check out the hook while my DJ revolves it.
You know, that's it. So again, Tampa Away is not being advertised this week because they're back ordered.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people were interested in that because they learned from the USBC's video on how to do it
It's wonderful. But
and the results. So that's perfect.
we'll be teaching a lot of different things this week that you can learn.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully some of it is helpful for everybody watching.
I think it is. I think some of the stuff we have, you have a very nice presentation you put together.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yours is
We'll
nice
see.
too.
Yeah, mine's all right.
It's
So
great. for
then
you.
we have a top 5, and that's it for the news.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, why don't we just jump right in? You know, we
I think
got
we should.
a lot to talk about. We already got a lot to unpack. So, I say we just
Yep.
get right into the show, right?
I think we should.
We'll
So
start
let's
with
talk
league.
about the league. The leagues have started, and you know it's exciting time. You go into league, and you always have these lofty goals that you set, and goals have to be realistic and attainable.
Right. You got to be
You know,
able
or else,
to
You know,
account for them. It can't just be like, oh, I want to
I want to see this, I want to do that, and you don't really.
make
So
adjustments.
they got to be
better.
measurable. They got to be measurable.
Measurable, yeah.
Yep, and they have to be sort of on a timetable.
Yeah. So,
So,
let's
Let's
jump
talk
into
about it a
short
little
term.
bit. You know, the short-term goals. These can be broken down to the most minuscule item. You know, if you're going to bowl in a league night and you want to work on something while you're bowling league, which is never really a good idea to revamp your game while you're bowling league. But if you want to improve your league experience, you should work on certain items that can be isolated. For instance, maybe you want to work on being more consistent with your push away. And that's all you're going to worry about is my push away.
Yeah.
You know, so you go practice it and you incorporate that into your league night. You know, hand positions. It's another thing. People don't ever work on that. Maybe they don't the way they should. You know, that's a big difference between carrying and not carrying sometimes. And it's a simple one if you practice it a little bit. It's the difference between getting the corner pin out and not without getting you out of the zone you're in and using the same ball.
Right. Old school.
Old school stuff, that is. You know, some is knee bend. People, you know, work on their knee bend. And these are little items that you should break down that this is my year. I'm going to work on my knee bend while I'm bowling league. I'm going to make sure I stay down, or make sure I have different hand position options. You know, little things like that. But break it down to one item that you can concentrate on doing. You know, and to me, that's the biggest problem is league. When you're standing up on the approach and you're thinking about 10, 12 different things, ain't a lot going to happen.
Not the place to do it.
No, but if you're
That's when
thinking about one thing, or you know,
that's when you become the Statue of Liberty on the approach,
my
because
God,
you're going through a mental checklist.
Yeah. Oh, what I forget? Let me start over. 1. Okay, I got that. 2.
All right. Foot on the right spot. Take a deep
yeah,
breath.
exactly.
Put the
And don't
weight
be that guy
60
that writes on his shoes.
What's wrong with that?
I mean, there's guys in my league that arrows on their shoes
Why not?
to make sure your foot's pointing in the right direction. You need an arrow to tell you if your foot's pointing in the right direction.
Yeah. What if you got like a square toe?
Yeah, well, you know.
What if you got turf toe?
Let me tell you what happened before I forget. Monday was funny as hell. So I bowled with Brent and Wyatt on Monday, 3-man team, and we're bowling the vacant, the team blind. We have a blind team we're bowling against, vacant. So the league has 15 minutes of practice, by the way, which is a very long time.
For trios? Yeah, that's a really long time.
And on top of that, now we're on a pair where there's nobody on the pair with us, and Wyatt was out. So there's only 2 of us. So the lanes come on, and Brent and I walk down leisurely, and we're talking as we're walking down, and set up in the approach and throw a shot. Next thing I look over, and there's a guy on my pair. I go, "Are you on this pair?" And of course, this is another one of those things. You know where you had the list of things that are annoying? This is the other one. They wear the earbuds while they're bowling, so you can't hear them and they can't hear you.
Yeah.
And
Oh, you
you
can
know,
hear
Mike,
them.
yeah, but trying to use sign language, and I almost got to the other sign language for him, but I didn't. And he finally takes one out. I go, "Are you on this pair?" He says, "No, I'm on the pair next to you, but we have 6 bowlers. You only have 2."
Oh my god.
And I'm like, "You can't do that."
Yeah.
But he
Get
had the
outta
thing
here.
back in his head, so he didn't hear me.
Get
All
out
right.
of here.
Yeah. So his ball comes, and then he leaves his ball on our rack and goes to the other pair to throw his shot because he held a spot in line.
How do you save your spot in line? What'd you do? Put your chamois on the
No, he had his
you put
teammates,
a
right? So he was between his 2 teammates.
you put a quarter on the video game?
Yeah,
and
exactly. I'm next, right? So then he comes back to our pair, and by then Brent has taken the ball off the rack and put it on a thing in the back. He gets his ball, comes back on the approach.
Get
And
the
I said,
heck out of here.
I said, "We practiced for 15 minutes. That's not enough for you?" So next week, and they're both next to us every week. So next week when we get there, we're going to go on his pair, my whole team.
Just before you even start, just start
Yeah,
lining
before
up.
we even start, and see if we can line up on that pair and practice.
What?
Well, we want to practice on his pair because we don't like the pace on our pair. It's too fast.
Yeah.
That's a first in my entire life.
I would have yeeted that ball back to his pair.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what that means? No.
You would have sent it back there, though.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a new term. Yeet. That's when you take something and you basically huck it.
Yeah.
Out of there.
Anyway, so go to the next slide.
Next slide.
So short-term goals. These are things that are short-term. They can do them right. You work on them, and it's a spare shooting. Focus on the execution. I see too many people, they get wrapped, and maybe they really wasn't a wrap. They just weren't going to strike anyway because the execution really wasn't there or whatever. And then in frustration, they don't really concentrate on shooting that spare. So if your goals are to improve your average or whatever it is, you got to make more spares. If you think about if you improve 1 pin a game, your average goes up, and that's all it really is. Just, don't miss that 1 extra spare. It's 11 pins. So you're going to have enough opens without having some, I love watching bowling, and they say it was an unforced error. I'm not sure what a forced error in bowling is, but if you nonchalant or ole on a 10-pin spare and you miss it, there's no reason for that. You're in competition. You step on the approach, focus on shooting and executing, and make a significant pass at the ball. When you're at the bottom of your swing, don't give it that old flick it and I'm pissed off, walk away.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people leave solid 8s and then miss them because they're pissed. So
yeah, that's rough, and that's tough as a teammate to digest that.
Absolutely. You're trying to win a game. And I'm going to get into that a little later too about that. But yeah,
don't be a quitter when it comes to that.
Right. And then pre-shot routine is important. And these are little things you can work on. Have a pre-shot routine, something you do every single time. Bowling is a game of repetition and repeatability.
Yeah.
And it starts when you step on the approach. And if right before that you like to grab your grip sack or your rosin bag and do it the same every single time. If you're going to wipe the ball off, do it the same every single time. But those are little short-term goals you could have. Is I'm going to be more consistent. I'm going to focus on my my spare shooting, on my execution, because when over time, especially if you bowl a 36-week league, or in my case, a year-long league, it'll add up, and it'll snowball. So that's important. So just a couple of short-term goals.
There's apps that can track your bowling as well, like your shots and your spares and what you're missing.
Right.
What's important is if you were paying attention last season to what you were struggling with.
Right. Exactly.
And you say, okay, well, it was glaring that I missed, say my single pin percentage was only 75%.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, that's over the course of the year. That's a lot of pins that add up.
Yeah.
I'm missing 1 out of every 4. Right. So
right.
You leave 10 single pins in a night. That's you can easily increase your average just by picking those up.
You know, it's the same thing where guys go out and practice and they want to practice shooting the 3-6-10. It's a tough spare,
Yeah,
right?
I just try not to leave it.
Well, I was just going to say the best thing you should practice on is not leaving it,
I'd rather go full washout than ever have to shoot a 3-6-10 in competition.
right? So, I mean, the same thing, but you think about, I'm going to practice 3-6-10. Well, if you would have paid more attention to your strike shot, you wouldn't have left the 3-6-10 seven
maybe
times tonight.
It could have been something completely different. Like, hey, maybe if your fit was checked and it actually fit your hand well, you wouldn't be crowbarring 1 out of every 4 shots.
Exactly right. So there's
And go to
always
the
a
face.
reason. Yeah. So that's important. But again, shooting spares and knowing how to shoot your spares, it's just, you got to be consistent and focused, especially on the second shot. I know everybody loves the first shot, the strike shot. Oh my God, what a great shot. But when you don't strike, there's a lot going on when you miss that spare, So if you want to raise your average and be a little bit better bowler, you have to focus on the second shot. And it should be executed the same way you execute your first shot, with the same intensity.
And the same pre-shot routine.
And the same pre-shot routine.
Take the same amount of time as you do on your spares, you do your first shot.
Exactly right.
Sweet.
Let's talk about some of the long-term goals.
There we go.
People go in there, and especially bowlers that are trying to improve. Maybe they're beginning bowler, and they set a goal. I want to improve I want to raise my average. Well, don't just say I want to raise my average. I want to raise my average by X amount of pins. Realistically, I want to raise it by 10 pins this year.
Okay, that's realistic. Sure.
That's a realistic number, 10 pins. Well, if you, like Nick said, you go back and think about what caused you to not be 10 pins better last year, and think about it. Now, if you're going to be an app guy, just make sure you're not slowing down the rest of the league, because you're trying to figure out how to enter that 7, 2 out, 9 for the frame.
Wait, we talking about phone apps or like mozzarella sticks?
Yeah, right. Exactly. No,
you don't want to take up all the you don't want to take up all the time ordering those at the snack bar either.
Yeah, exactly. But you want to, if you have a phone app that you're going to enter what you did, do it when you're done.
Yeah.
Not while you're waiting for your spare ball, the ball to come back before you shoot your spare.
Yeah, that time's better dedicated to finding your spare ball, changing the thumb out, wiping it off, spending 3 minutes to do that, right?
And you should change the thumb out after you've used the ball and put it in your strike ball before you go up the next time.
Sometimes you could do that. Sometimes not.
A lot of times you take it off the rack and fix it. So anyway, but improve your spare shooting is one way to definitely raise it, especially if you go back and look at what your weaknesses were. Okay. And then the other one is understanding ball motion. That's pretty simple. If you're leaving a million 10 pins in a night, you're probably playing them a little wrong. You have the wrong ball in your hand, or you're in the wrong part of the lane. Now, the biggest problem is if you're leaving a lot of 10 pins and then you're not making them, that's a recipe for disaster as far as raising your average.
Yeah, your spare ball's defective.
Yeah. And Nick that's a good idea what Nick said. Get yourself an app if you're beginner bowler, or if you're at that level where you're trying to improve and you don't know where your weaknesses are, and take a look at what you're leaving and what you're making and not making.
Yeah. Hopefully you see some sort of miss, some sort of pattern, when I miss, I tend to miss it to the face, or when I miss, I tend to miss it to the right.
Exactly.
And I leave spares that are on the left. So, if I'm missing my left side spares, what could I be doing different? So always investigate based on where you see the fault. Then you can apply yourself. All right, well, I'm going to change this and I'm going to see if it helps.
Exactly.
You're going to have an aha moment when you're looking to improve. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. That makes sense.
Yeah. When people start bowling, the first thing I always tell them, hit the one in the front, hit the pin in the front. And you laugh when you say it, but beginning bowlers don't understand that if you hit the head pin, you're going to knock down more pins on the first shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to your spare, you need to hit the one in the front first, right?
Exactly right. So
I'm trying to think if there's any.
No, there's none where you can not hit the pin in the front first and make a spare. It's impossible. Unless you're bouncing one out of the back.
You can get lucky.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And if you're relying on luck to raise your average, good luck.
Hey, that could be a goal. I want to get lucky.
Yeah, I want to get lucky. This year I want to get lucky. So, do stuff like that and become more versatile as a long-term goal. It's funny when a night goes bad.
What's funny?
It can go bad in a hurry. So you got to be able to slow it down and make it more in present time, so that the league's not over and you shot 450.
Mm.
You know, and you're sitting there wondering what happened. Well, you know, did you make the right changes? Did you make too many changes? You got to be a little cognizant of that. But you know, one thing I keep telling people, and I know it's old school, but sometimes you got to think about that. Hand position changes. They allow you to stay where you are and not have to move out of what zone you're in.
Or speed adjustments too.
Or speed adjustments too, right?
Yeah, there's all sorts of different ways you can get to the pocket.
So if you're looking for long-term goals, learn to have hand position changes, you know, and that just adds to your repertoire and it gets you to the pocket. But, you know, the key is if they're playing, everybody's playing a house around 13 out to 12, out to 11 or 10, and you got to stay in that spot and you can't get it to work, you know, hand position may be able to answer and you don't have to jump out of a zone or go get another ball and then guess what it's going to do. You know, I mean, I've been fiddling around with urethane the last couple of weeks, you know, and having fun with it. But when I have to get out of urethane, I have to go to a resin ball. What's the move?
It's a guess.
It's a guess.
Yeah, it's a educated guess. You basically go back to your comfort zone where you normally throw a resin ball and hope for the best.
Exactly. And then the worst case scenario is it went through the face and you got 5, or you moved too deep and you whiffed it and got a washout. So learning from that so that the next time you have to go from one ball to the other, you understand about what the move is. And those are things that help you raise your average.
Those come with experience, those situations.
Exactly,
I mean,
right.
there are so many situations that you can get into that you are constantly learning. And if you're not learning from bad experiences or bad outings, then you'll never improve.
It's the same thing when people are bowling bad, and then they just basically give up. Well, you wasted 6 or 7 frames in a night because you're all pissed off about how bad you bowled. That should be a learning experience. I'm going to try to figure this out, and I don't care if I have to get up in the 10th and throw a double in the 10th to shoot 150. I want to figure out how to make that work, and that's important. So, you know, become more versatile, learn to play different parts of the lanes. Those are some long-term goals. That's not going to happen overnight, but if your long-term goal is to raise your average, you have to have long-term training.
And you know, goes with bowling more than just your 3 games a week.
Practice is always a big deal. To raise your average, practice. That's a sure way of raising your average. And don't just practice throwing strikes. I see people do that all the time. You know,
if you're working on mechanics, work on certain things every time you practice.
Correct. Especially in mechanics.
Yeah,
you know, if it's knee bend, if it's push away, if it's arm swing, you know, and
for avid gym goers, you know, they don't go to the gym and they're like, all right, I'm going to hit the treadmill, then I'm going to do weights, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that. They're like, okay, I'm just going to work on legs today.
Yeah, leg days.
I'm going to work on arms. I'm going to work on cardio today.
Right.
You know, very rare do I ever hear somebody go like, oh, I'm going to do all of it today. I'm just going to run around from machine to machine.
Right. You know, so do the same thing when you bowl. And again, if your goal is to raise your average, you have to start improving different aspects of the game. You know, and when you practice like you're bowling a game. I mean, don't just go up there, throw a shot, press the button, throw a shot, press the button, see how many times you can throw a strike. Because if you left those 10 pins and you only make 2 out of the 8, you're not going to do well.
Yeah, if you happen to have a center that has sync scoring, you can put in whatever pin you want to pick up. So say you want to pick up 10 pins. You can spend 15 minutes just shooting 10 pins. And if they don't have that, you can, on your first shot, you can try to shoot your 10 pin and just pick it off clean.
Yep. And the second shot,
either try to pick up the 7 pin clean or you go for your pocket shot after that.
Right. And then you'll always carry because you got the 10 out already.
Yeah. Like it's fine doing sets like that. Right. But in a real world environment, you're not just shooting 15 10 pins in a row. You're shooting your strike shot, then you got to adjust and throw your corner pin. So
it should be a realistic practice session.
Yeah, don't just fire rapid fire 10 pins. Because it can help, but you're never going to have that in a real world situation where you're just able to groove them. And that's why I think in golf too, sometimes you get on the range and you get into a groove and you're like, oh, I'm hitting it so well. Then you get on the course and you're like, what the hell just happened? Because you got to hit your tee shot, then you got to hit our approach, then you got to make a chip, then you got to putt, then you got to go back to hitting your drive.
Yep.
It could be 20 minutes before you hit another driver.
You know, when I used to play golf more, when my son was playing golf, I would go to the range or the range before we went out to play, right? Yeah. And I would take the scorecard with me.
Okay, why? Oh,
well,
because you wanted to.
Yeah, I want to play the hole. So the first hole was, 420 or whatever it was, right? I'd hit my drive, and then I know I have to hit something that's going to be 200 or,
and then that isn't realistic because you don't know what kind of terrain you're working with. Hey, there's all these woods to the left. I need to hit my 700 punch-out shot.
I knew you were going to say that, but the point of the matter is, I knew the par fives on the course. I knew what I was going to hit, and I knew it was going to be maybe a 9-iron in, or something like that. So I would hit them in that order. Well, we should do the same thing when you bowl. Shoot the 7-pin first, then shoot the rack. Or, do something like that. And if you leave something up, play it like it's a real game. Don't just go and I got to hurry up and throw my next shot,
Yeah, so, work on your pre-shot routine, work on all that setup and stuff, and then do it. Learn your equipment. You can have a whole practice just dedicated to your equipment.
Exactly right.
There.
Next one. What do we got? I think there's one more slide.
Is there one more? Right,
I think so.
There you go.
Yeah, so here's another one. Make every shot count. We talked about that. And no nonchalant shots. Don't go up there and like, I don't care and just dump it, Make every shot be part of a learning exercise. Don't waste the shots. If you're going to make them, make them important. Winning the league, that could be your long-term goal. We're going to win the league this year. Okay? So it's nice to say that. But you got to have a team chemistry. Or else it's like going to jail for 36 weeks if you don't like the team you're with.
Yeah. I mean, I think we've all been there where
absolutely
you're just like, week 2, you're like, no way.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to kill one of them.
I've quit leagues before. I mean, for very personal reasons. I've given my 2 weeks, paid my dues, and then quit because it was something personal. It was a long time ago, but I was like, I can't endure this. Oh. So, sorry. See you later.
I understand. And here's another one and this is something I'm going to tell you guys about it. And you'll know if it's happening to you, but wherever there's brackets, there are many times there's problems with the team.
Right. Yeah, because the outcome of the brackets sometimes is more not beneficial, but detrimental
to how the team is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Years and years and years ago, when brackets first started being popular. I'm talking about that's how long ago. We had a guy on our team would go up to the window and say all every week, right? And if he bowled bad the first game and he was out of his brackets, he was done for the night. Yeah. That lasted about 8 weeks on our team. Then we got rid of him.
Yeah, for sure.
Because he wasn't trying, because his only concern was, I have 300 in brackets. How much am I going to be able to get out? So if your team is trying to win a league, you got to make sure that the lack of bracket exposure is controlled, or lack of the bracket performance is controlled. If a person does bad when they're not, and their brackets are out, is there a letdown?
That's the main thing. I mean, ideally you have a guy that's in brackets every week because he wins a lot of brackets every week.
Yeah. But
for some people,
right.
They're gamblers, and some people that is what they call pillaging the league.
Yeah, exactly. No, I agree.
But
so you got to make sure when you put your team together, there's an understanding that you guys are going to try, or else you're not winning the league.
Right.
It's funny. We had a bad year last year. My team is, and we're getting killed this year too. And I said to the guys on the team last night, "Hey guys, it's early in the league. Same thing happened to us last year." And they were all waiting for me the big punchline. I said, "And we finished near the bottom last year."
Hey, but the goal could be anywhere but the bottom.
Right, exactly. So make it a goal. Make it and pick. Realistically, if your team you want to be in the top 10, or they have roll-offs, you want to make the roll-offs. Not necessarily win the league. You got to make it attainable. But team chemistry is important. And the guys have to always try, or else You know, that there goes your goal of winning the league. You know, doesn't take much for you to be buried in the league, especially if your chemistry is bad.
And especially if it's 40-something weeks long. Holy moly.
48.
Yikes. All right,
That's
I'm going to
it.
post the Woo box.
Post the Woo
again.
box. Yeah. Put your
Make sure
name
everybody
in.
Has it.
Get you know the rules. And in about 40 minutes or so, we're gonna pick a name. We're gonna shut it down in about 20 minutes or so.
You know the rules, and so do I. Can you name that song?
No.
I know everybody in the chat can.
Everybody?
Yeah, I just love that I've gotten 2 songs past you that you have no idea about.
Well, you know what? I'm not concerned.
That's just my point is sometimes you like to spout references to me like I'm supposed to understand them.
Well, I try to help you.
Yeah, so the whole chat just got rickrolled. Have you heard of that before?
No.
But fun fact about rickroll is that video is actually gone now. They deleted it off the internet. You can no longer rickroll people on that same link.
I have no idea what that means.
You don't know that? So it was a joke for, gosh, almost 20 years probably, is that, okay, say there was a news article. Say the USBC came out with this news article, right?
Okay.
I was like, oh, here's the link, right? And I send you the link, and the link says USBC news article, but it's actually a link that brings you to Rick Astley, Never Gonna Get You Out, or Never Gonna Give You Up on YouTube, and it plays the song. It just goes to the song, and that's being called Rickrolled.
Oh,
so
okay.
You're getting sent a link that you thought was to something else, but it's actually Rick Astley. So he became famous long after the fact
for doing that.
For Rick, no, he wasn't the one doing it. People were doing it on his behalf. But yeah, Rick rolling. Yeah, fun. It's funny.
It's funny. Funny how?
But yeah, should we do the top 5 now, or should we do?
Let's do the top 5.
Let's do the top 5.
So today's top 5, we were talking before the show. We didn't have a top 5. So I have a top 5 reasons we don't have a top 5.
Yeah, I mean, I was extremely busy, you know.
Yeah, so was I. I was tied up today. It's been a rough couple of days.
Spent a lot of time doing stuff. So Phil did this one. It's very artistic.
As you can tell, there's so much
yeah, and
graphics to it and design.
And the formatting is top notch too.
Oh yeah, well, whatever.
He really went all in.
How bad would it have looked if I said top 5 reasons we don't have a top 5 and had this big elaborate presentation?
Yeah.
I could have spent more time doing the presentation then.
It would be funny if you just like scribbled it on paper and then we just took a picture of the paper.
I could have done that too next time, or a napkin.
All right, number 5.
Number 5, top 5. We got too busy answering questions about the USBC.
Question.
That took
singular.
up a lot of time. Question.
Yeah, it was only one question. Are you guys crazy?
Yeah.
Where can I get the tamper away?
Yeah, that's right. So it was a lot. I should proofread my stuff from now on too.
Yeah.
No.
Toko
Bell. Number 4. Too many new ball launches this week.
Yeah, weird. Yeah.
A lot going on. Announcements went out. I think they went out today on other balls. So it's been a little crazy this week.
Yeah. Number 3.
Nick was editing his league video.
It's true.
Yep.
It's true. Back to league, back to editing.
You record your league every week?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you show it to anybody?
Show what?
Your league.
Yeah, I post it.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
All right.
I just show my shots.
Oh, you don't show everybody?
No.
That'd be pretty exciting for somebody to sit there and watch a 5-man team bowl 3 games
and shoot
on a Thursday night.
Yeah. Rodney shot a 97 in game 3. Nobody wants to see that.
No, exactly.
Nobody. We get asked all the time, hey, show your teammates bowl too. It's like, nah, trust me.
Number 2. Nick got stuck in the drive-thru at Taco Bell.
Yeah, the guy just was ordering like 40 things. Like it took forever.
That's it. And the number 1 reason we don't have a top 5 today, Nick was in the restroom after Taco Bell.
Repercussions.
Hopefully we'll have a real top 5 next week.
I think that was a great one. You know,
It was a quick one.
It's
So now the
perfect.
second part of our day,
Mm-hmm.
you want to talk about staffers and influencers.
Yeah.
Look
I
how
do.
nice you put Wow, you made a little italicis and everything. Wow, look at that.
You like that?
How come you don't have like little things running in on the screen while it's up there?
Did you want that?
No,
I got. Oh,
no, I don't want that.
I can do that.
Yeah.
Someone said runs Nick
Yeah, that's good.
after Taco Bell.
Taco Bell, it's runs, Nick.
So we got Bruns Nick, we got Dumbs Nick, we got Shills Nick, and now we got Runs Nick.
Runs, Nick.
Run for the border. That's funny. That's hilarious.
There you go.
All right. Let's talk about more achieving your goals. So this week,
Good.
Phil talked about league, and I'm going to talk about staff and influencers. So that is a very common goal and question: is how do I get on staff? What do I need to do to start a YouTube channel and be an influencer? So I'm going to address it, and I don't think anybody's ever done it to this extent. I'm basically going to give a blueprint for how to do each. Now, that doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be able to achieve all this. However, if you're dedicated enough and you apply it, it can work.
And I'll give you Nick's phone number. If you do it all and you don't get picked to be on staff, you can call Nick.
And I'll give Phil's number.
Yeah.
Have you had any pencils delivered to you lately?
No, well, I still have I have like 2 boxes. We're good on pencils.
Is that like a gross?
No, no. It's like a dozen pencils in each box, and I'm still working on my favorite ones.
Yeah. So for everybody that does have questions, save them for the end, because this is, like I said, a very long presentation. There's a lot of good information, and I'm going to be kind of locked in on getting through it, and then I'll answer questions after. So just hold them until after. Just keep up the normal chat, but questions will wait. So you want to get on staff. So everybody always wants to know, what are the requirements? And the perception of those requirements are average, how high, what does it take, what kind of average do I need to be on staff, honor scores, well, how many 300s do I need, what threshold is there once I hit it to be eligible, and tournament victories. Wait, I have to bowl those too? Well, here's the reality on that. So average, yes. You do need some ability to bowl at a high level to be on staff. Honor scores, they are cool, I suppose. Bowling high scores on house, I mean, it's nice. It's a nice flourish. Is it the requirement to be on staff? Not necessarily. Tournament victories, being competitive on tougher conditions against higher caliber players is a very good indicator of skill set. There's a lot of bowlers out there that are very good at their home center. They know the shot. They know the oil pattern. They know what bowling balls work there. They know what zones to play. And you get them outside that center even, and shambles, right? You get them into a tournament scenario where they're actually putting out a pattern, and it could be just they forget how to bowl. Happens, right? So what should you actually focus on, right? So for 5 years, I was the product specialist for the Northwest. So I managed regional staffers in my region. I think at the most I ever had was somewhere around 40, somewhere in there. And that wasn't a lot because Northwest is pretty spread out and there's just not as many people there as like the Midwest and the East. So here are the 2 things I always told staffers, or not staffers, people that wanted to get on staff. How do I get on staff? Here we go. Sell a lot of bowling balls. Win a lot of regionals, preferably both. That's it. So whenever I got asked for staff, it's like, all right, well, are you in a pro shop? No. Are you affiliated with a pro shop? Do you like your pro shop? Do you work? If I called the pro shop that you go to, would he have nice things to say about you? And who's on staff in the area. Do you bowl the same tournaments that they are? Can you beat them? That's the thing. beat the guys that are on staff, and then we'll consider it, right? If you can consistently compete and give them a run, then yeah, you're probably going to get looked at and you're probably going to get picked up in some way, shape, or form, right? So the first question, let's deal with that one. How can you sell a lot of bowling balls? So the number one thing, pro shop affiliation, right, Phil?
Absolutely. If you're in that pro shop, people come in, and while the pro shop guy is busy, you're in there talking to him, and referring stuff or trying to help them out with some questions. That's the easiest way. It really is, because the pro shop will recommend you, and that's another interesting way to be known or introduced to the sales rep. Our product specialists are responsible for staffers in their areas.
Yes.
And if they don't know who you are, there's no chance. I mean, really isn't any chance. But the pro shop guy could call them up and say, "Hey, listen, I got a guy that
I think would be a good fit."
Exactly.
Yeah. Because ultimately it comes down to that relationship.
Right.
And we'll talk about that more as we get into this. But if you work at a pro shop, if you own the pro shop, or if you're just a loyal, diehard customer with a great relationship that you can actually influence others, say, "Hey, go see Larry over here. He'll set you up. Oh, I think this ball will be great for you. Hey, Larry, go get him that new Black Widow Tour V1. You need something a little bit more control for a little bit more medium conditions. This ball's doing this. I think this would be a great ball. What do you think, Larry?" Like, if you bring business to your pro shop, they're going to love you for that.
Absolutely.
They're going to help you out with your own stuff, and they're going to give you privileges. So
Yep.
Maintaining that relationship, being loyal, that's the whole thing. Another way, bowling center affiliation. So I know this is a far one, but owner, operator, manager, have a ball leagues. You can dictate what kind of bowling balls come through your leagues. If you want to have a ball league, they're very popular. You learn the bowl type leagues from entry level all the way to performance bowling balls. So you can drive a lot of business through that way. You can get a lot of bowling balls for the brand you're interested in. And you can use that as like, hey, like, this is what I can offer. I'm also a very good bowler. I bowl in 3 leagues. We have a pro shop here that does really well, and we want to run ball leagues.
Yeah.
So that's the things that speak volumes over, hey, I averaged 220. I shot 300s last year. Can I get a staff? Can I get a staff deal? It's like, all right, that's great. That's great for you. But
what'd it do for me?
Yeah, right. And the other way is social media influencer, YouTube reviews, engaging content, affiliate links. And we're going to talk a lot more on this topic later, because this one's a hard one. So
it is. And
it's not all linear. Not everybody is the same, and not everybody values it the same way.
Right.
So we're going to talk about that. All right. So why is this all important? Why are we talking about this? What it takes to get on staff from a viewpoint of the company when we're looking at potential staffers is there's no such thing as free bowling balls. Getting equipment or apparel even is an investment. And with every investment, what is the return? You talk about this all the time.
Return on investment, ROI.
What's your ROI?
Right.
So in this scenario, let's just say a bowling ball costs $80 to produce and ship to a person. I just gave a roundabout number. That person that gets that ball will need to influence about 4 to 8 others to buy a ball just to break even on that investment. Because remember, our customers are distributors, right? So we have a set amount that we're going to make on a ball, and it costs X to send a ball for free, and it takes about 4 to 8 bowling balls just to break even. So if I don't think that you can produce 4 to 8 sales based on that one ball, it doesn't make sense to send you a ball. Right? Because companies don't stay in business for giveaways or to break even. We call it often a seed ball, right? And what happens when you plant a seed, Phil?
Well, if it doesn't rain, it dries up and you get nothing.
So don't ship bowling balls down to San Antonio. Is that right?
This is the desert. Nothing will grow here. But nothing grows here. But a seed ball is supposed to be a plant that flourishes and produces say fruit or vegetable or whatever, and next thing you know, you have more of them.
Right.
That means more sales. Planting one yielded X amount of sales. If you plant one seed, well, let's say you put a potato in the ground and you get one potato back. That ain't going to work.
No.
You put a potato in the ground, you want to have 10, 12 potatoes. So it's a seed ball for a reason. And again, the biggest problem we have is they're expensive. And, he used 80 as it's an average, talking about mid, entry, and high end averaged out. People get high end balls, cost us more. And again, if you don't have people going into the shop asking about it, there's a good chance you're not going to be on staff this following year. If you are on staff, and to get on staff, it's not Nick's giving you the layout. You got to be friendly with the pro shop guy. He's got to know who you are, and you have to help him sell our product. And you're going to do the groundwork ahead of time. This is not one of those major league contracts. My contract's up at the end of the year. I hit 240 this year, but I want 85 million a year because I'm going to hit 270 next year.
Right. No.
You
got to prove it throughout. You got to prove it throughout the year.
Yeah, you got to prove it to us ahead of time.
Right. So let's switch it up a little bit. So how do you win a lot of events? Right. We talked about how you can sell bowling balls and what it takes to sell them, but how do you become the best bowler in your area? Is it just why is it the same guys or girls that always seem to finish at the top week in, week out, every event? They're bowling every event. Two, they seem to just figure it out every week. Doesn't matter what shot it is, what center it's at. They just seem to figure it out. They're consistently near the top. They're always in the hunt. Now, you can't win every tournament. There's no way. But you can always be in the hunt and be a chance to win. Put yourself in a position to win, and that means staying within the number, making the shots when you need to, making spares, and it all comes from practice. And these bowlers are seeking the best coaches out there to improve their already good skill set, where they're taking it to the next level. They're saying, hey, I feel like I really need help in this area. I'm going to get with a coach, get a good set of eyes, and we're going to work on this very minor part of my game so that when I encounter that situation later, I'm going to be prepared. I'm going to be able to handle that. So, and they also understand their equipment. Some bowlers are very techy when it comes to that stuff. Some are not. Like Robert Smith, he doesn't even know what his PAP is. He's never known it his entire professional career. Tommy Jones, pretty much the same way. Put the pin up top over the ring. I know it rolls good for me there, and I'm going to make the best shots. I don't care about the rest. It doesn't matter. I will let the ball dictate and let me know what it needs to do, and then if it doesn't do what I need it to do, I'm going to change balls. Or I'm going to change the way I throw it. Whatever. And they also understand lane play and transition, where they need to be, where their feet need to be, what kind of touch they need to put on the bowling ball, and how to get that ball through the pins and strike consistently. And solid, consistent mental game. They're not super high. They're not super low. They're really just within themselves the whole time. You never see them really that rattled. That's just how it is. They maintain that level of kind of mental stability, and it allows them to think clearly and make good shots without all that emotion. And before I move on, I'm going to post the Woo Box one last time.
This is the last Woo posting.
This is the last Woo posting. You got 5 minutes.
It's a Woo sighting.
Yeah. Woo.
Put your name in there. We're going to pick somebody.
Yep. All right. So, say you're the best bowler. Is that enough? And the answer is not always, because you need to be approachable. Mind you, we're talking about being on staff, okay? And we're still, when it comes down to it, we need to be able to push bowling balls, right? And we need to be able to keep this fun train going. So recreational players and league bowlers should feel comfortable coming up to you and asking questions. If they are intimidated, or you only hang with your little clique and don't give anyone with quote-unquote lesser skill a time of day, that will potentially eliminate opportunities for growth. Essentially, DBAD. And I'll let you interpret that however you want. So you got to understand that.
The bad?
The bad. Yeah, DBAD. Porter's saying Woo Box didn't show up. Well, why not? I'll post it one more time. It's saying it's going through on Facebook there. Yeah, it's saying it's going through. If you don't see it, sorry.
You might have to reboot your flex capacitor here. It might be acting up.
Yep.
From the solar flare.
So every interaction can be seen as a chance to educate and improve their game. If someone's comfortable enough coming up to you and asking for tips about equipment, maybe it's just something on the lanes. Hey, how do I do this? And you're their source, and that puts you in a very great position to be a leader and to be an ambassador for a brand, if that's your goal, if that's what you want. New gear suggestions, hand position advice, how to change tape. It could be something so just ordinary to you that could mean something like an aha moment for someone else, right? I remember when I posted a video of just the way I put in tape, right? So I don't use a tool. I peel it off and I use the tape backing as my tool, to put it in. They're like, wow, I've never seen anybody do that. It's awesome. Cool. Then that's what I do. I've been doing that forever, because sometimes I don't have my bag right there and I don't have a tool to help put it in. So I started using the backing of the tape. So, but yeah, going back to if it's a gear related question, you're influencing sales to the pro shop, hopefully as a trusted source. And if you're influencing sales consistently with the pro shop, you better be damn well sure that we're going to hear about it, because that pro shop's going to talk to their rep and say, hey, I got this guy, Billy Bowler over here, that he's really been doing a great job. He's been pushing a lot of people this way. He's very helpful, great bowler in the area, bowls all the tournaments, bowls 3 leagues a week, and he's constantly talking to people. This is a stand-up guy. Or could be a girl, Belina Bowler. Same thing. So here comes the main question. Do you still want to be on staff? It can be demanding.
It's a lot of work.
It can be demanding. There will always be a target on your back by others wanting your spot. Once you get it, target's on your back. So now you're held to a higher level now with how you perform in local events, how you're acting in online, offline tournaments, all that. I've had to talk with bowlers over the years because they had a bad tournament. Someone came up to them after, not knowing the situation and just asked them an innocent question, and they were not very cordial about it. So they got talked to. It's like, hey, I understand you're in the moment. You lost the match, whatever. Take all the time you need in the settee area. Once you go on to the concourse, you need to switch that off and become more personable. That's just what's expected. And you'll be expected to help your area rep with local events, demos, trade shows, all that stuff. If it's in your area, you're going to get asked to help set up, tear down, take time out of your day, maybe take a day off work, whatever it might be. We're going to ask because you are an extension of the sales team at that point. So what could be possibly more enticing than being on staff, Phil?
Oh, you know what? Being an influencer.
Absolutely. So you want to be a YouTuber?
Wow, I got that right.
Good answer. 10 points for Gryffindor. So I hope that was helpful. And once again, I'll take questions after. Just hold them until the end of all this, and then we'll go through them. But I want to get through this. So what is the perception of being a YouTuber? And the perception I get from people that ask about it is that if I start making videos, companies will send me all the gear. I'll be internet famous overnight. I'll monetize my channels and be Oprah rich. Sounds great. Here's the reality. Like I'm sorry if it's a little small type, but there's a lot to it. It's hard to get started.
Got my magnifying glass. I can read this.
It's hard to get started, and you're brand new. If you're a relative nobody, companies won't send you anything to review until you're well established and consistent. Kind of like with staff. You got to be able to do all these things before. We can't just say, hey, if you send me this, I'll do a review. It's like, well, where are your reviews now? Your video production value will probably suck to start. You probably won't post nearly enough. People might think you're boring and won't watch again. Coming up with fresh ideas is a mental grind. And if you are lucky enough to meet monetization requirements, you'll start questioning if the juice was ever worth the squeeze.
That's right. Exactly.
So
it's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and people think it's just all roses. But if you were to actually sit down and break it down as an hourly wage for that, there are better job opportunities out there. Let me just
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Hey, I think you get free meals with that at least.
You get free salsa.
Mm-hmm. So you want to be a YouTuber, right? So getting started before you post a single thing is you're going to need to brand yourself. You're going to figure out what your channel is going to be. It could be just your name. It could be a cool, hip name that you come up with for reviews. That's fine. What makes it uniquely you is the question I always ask. It's like, what is special about all of us? Figure it out, right? You'll need to come up with that name of the channel and the artwork that goes with it before you ever post a single video. So you're going to have to come up with all this logo design, profile image, all that stuff. And you'll need to create those channels where you want to post: YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. My suggestion is, if you're only going to focus on one, still make the channels for all of them at first, because the worst thing you can do is get popular on one, forget about the others, and then that name is already taken or somebody takes it from you. Okay. You'll need to make sure those unique URLs isn't taken for the channels. So, hey, say you come up with youtube.com Fill the Frames reviews. Phil wants to get into Fill the Frames.
Fill the Frames.
Get it?
Fill the Good Frames. Name. Nice name.
I invented that. I already copyrighted it, so it's mine.
You did? Okay.
So anybody named Phil can't fill the frames anymore.
Fill the frames. Nice.
But yeah, this is important stuff. Say you have a great name, but that name is taken. Then back to the drawing board. Think of something else, right? What gear are you using? Okay. So cameras, lenses, wireless mic, lighting, editing, software, computer, tripods, all important, but you need to know how to use it all. Because a video with bad audio won't be watched. A video with poor video quality, say it's out of focus, say it's not lit well, I don't know, won't be watched. And a video poorly edited won't be watched, because it's all a skill set. Everything is, you can't just buy a camera, turn it on, hope for the best, right?
Yeah, right. Just point and shoot.
Point and shoot. Now they do advertise point and shoot cameras, and for the most part they might work okay, and they're going to be better than, say, a phone. But you have to learn how to use your gear. You need to know what lenses you need to use. You need to know lighting, right? So most bowling centers not very well lit. You're going to need to figure it out. Can you start filming with just your phone? Absolutely you can. If you are on a budget, at the very minimum, an iPhone. Now, I don't have any experience with Android, and I'm sure they do fine, but I'm just going to say iPhone, and a DJI mic. I put that one specifically because I think that is probably the best consumer type mic you can get for a relative inexpensive amount. I think it's like $350. And a sturdy tripod should be the minimum investment, mind you. Okay. So now roughly on TikTok, say you just want to be on TikTok, that's fine. I film probably 80% of my videos with an iPhone on TikTok. But on YouTube, remember that 33% of viewers on YouTube watch videos on their TV. So phone quality is just not the same as a DSLR. So take that into account, that 1 out of every 3 people on YouTube are watching it on their couch on a big screen. And they're going to be able to tell the difference between a video shot with their phone and a video shot with somewhat professional equipment. All right. So say you go all in and you buy all the gear. You say, you know what? I'm making the investment. I'm going to get started with this. I'm going to do what it takes. I'm going to do it right from the start. Okay. Now what? Okay. Say you invest, I don't know, $5, $6, $7 grand. It's a big investment. but that all of it adds up. You get the nice camera body, nice lens, mic, at least a simple fill light of some sort. Get it? Fill light.
I got it.
But when it comes down to it, you got to learn how to do it. So filming videos and especially editing them is a skill. You got to learn your gear inside and out and film multiple times to get your desired settings right before you ever start posting. You need to set up and film stuff, watch it, and then figure out what to do different the next time. You're constantly looking for improvements and what you can do different. If anybody watched any of my videos from the start, it has changed quite a bit, and I've molded it into what it is. So they say, hey, what if I did this? What if I did that? Oh, I shouldn't do that again. Those are things you need to constantly be doing. You need to be very, hard on yourself, right? You need to be just
very
critical, right? And it's for your own good. There can't be ego about it. Like, oh, what's wrong with my videos? Like, my videos are perfect. No, they're not. They can always be improved. Somebody sees something, they say, hey, why don't you try this? It's like, oh, it's a good idea. I'll try it. Or you see something or whatever. But one of the big things I see also is try not to use compromised footage. Just reshoot it. And I know that's not always possible, but you have to get there. If you want to be at the level of a professional YouTuber, is don't use compromised footage. So if it's blurry, you find out later that it's blurry or the audio's messed up, don't use it. Or if you can just repurpose that footage, if you can, for like a short or a reel or something where it's not the main video, fine. But don't use footage that's messed up to the point where it's going to look second rate. Because
that's just something that people have to realize. You don't take shortcuts.
No.
Because that's a death spiral. Once you get into that, you start taking shortcuts because time, you don't have the energy. It's going to be short-lived.
Yeah, because it's people will notice. People will notice when something's off, or just like, this is a amateur hour, right? Or hey, this is I just can't watch it, right? There's going to be little triggers that people just click off, and they may never click back. So if you lose someone for lack of quality video, and getting them back to watch another one, it's just like, it's tough. Because once they unsubscribe or once they kind of write you off, then getting them back, I don't know. But bowling centers, they can be really dark, so lighting can help. So knowing lighting, being able to be in a spot, and getting your settings right on your camera to be able to film in low light, because some cameras can do it better than others, and just finding that balancing act. Here's a big one, and this one I don't think anybody talks about because it's very personal, and I think it's very, it's a matter of just setting some ego aside and being real with one another. Is that you have main character energy, right? Because not everybody can be an actor. Not everybody can be on stage or a public speaker. Not everybody can have a stage presence, if you will. Not everybody can be the lead singer of a band. I can't sing, but people follow other people.
But you can dance.
I can dance. Or like in Three Amigos, we can sew. But people follow other people because they connect to them in some way, shape, or form. They watch videos from content creators because it engages them, gives them value, entertains them, educates them, makes them laugh, think, etc. It could be any different reasons, right? And you got to remember that this video opportunity is your stage. This channel is your channel. So you need to amplify your personality and don't be boring, okay? Practice speaking. Talking in front of a camera can be hard, right? Not everybody has the gift of gab and be able to fill dead air. And when you practice your speaking, the best public speakers in the world work on this all the time, is be mindful of any vocal disfluency and eliminate it. And what does that mean?
He likes that word, don't you?
I love that word.
Disfluency.
I'm very mindful of it when I'm doing podcasts, when I'm doing any videos. Is you will never, I wouldn't say never, I would say rarely ever hear me say,
yeah, you can't do the yums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has a tick sometimes. and they don't know they're doing it. It's filler. They're thinking, right?
Yeah, right.
Because oftentimes you get a little ahead of yourself. You start talking faster and faster. And so you're thinking of the next thing. So your brain automatically goes, or you have a repetitive word. It could be, well, this ball is like, it's like, or what I hear is repetitive words often when they can't think of another word. They'll say, this ball is definitely a great, strong ball. It's a big ball. It's definitely getting down the lane better. It's definitely.
Yeah.
Right. So it's something that you'll catch on if you get it pointed out to yourself, right? I can watch videos, but I never point it out to people. I never give unsolicited advice unless it's just something that's glaring, like wrong information being posted or whatever, and I have to correct it. But there you go. Got it in my head now. It's important to have your thoughts and slow down. Take your time.
Yeah. No hurry.
Say what you want to say, and be more useful with your words. So, I do have inflections, and I do use "but" a lot, and I use that as like a point where I make a point, but, and that's my version of it. So, but if you're like, this ball has a RG of hard to listen to. All right. So what makes your videos unique? You need to figure out what you can offer to viewers that nobody else can. At Radical, we did that 9 years ago.
I think it is
2016. Yeah, it's when we first started doing, when I took over Radical videos.
Right.
And I made the decision, with you, hey, why don't we throw bowling balls with Throwbot? Why don't we incorporate Throwbot into our videos? We're the technical company. What's better than having a robot, AI, throw our bowling balls, right? Nobody's doing that.
Yep.
So that was how we started doing them, and it's been the same ever since. We've added characters, but the general way that we do the video, the structure of the video hasn't changed much in 9 years. Your voiceovers have gotten a lot better.
Yeah. I wonder why.
You're good at it.
Practice.
So,
Practice.
When it comes down to your character, main character energy, if you're funny, be funny. If you're techie, you want to talk about all the specs of the ball, be techie.
Right.
And if you're hot, be hot. It's kind of like in the movie 21 Jump Street where he's trying to coach him on being cool, in high school, where they go back to high school.
Yep.
And it's like, he goes, step 1, be handsome. Have fun in your videos. Show enthusiasm. If you seem bored on camera, others will be bored too. Remember, at the end of the day, this is all entertainment. We go to YouTube for fun, to learn something, to laugh, to unwind. I like to watch slot machine channels. There's one in particular I watch just to kind of, it's fun. They have a good time.
Slot machine channels.
Yeah, they play high stakes slot machines. Yeah, and it kind of gets my gambling itch. And I haven't gambled since, gosh, I don't remember. I went to the Wu-Tang concert in July, but before that was.
What do you watch? The paint drying channel?
I mean, that would be a good idea for a channel there. That could be like an ASMR video.
Would that be pretty cool? I painted this wall. Let's watch it dry. I'll be back in 20 minutes.
Let's check on it while he's just sipping a cup of coffee. He's like, that looks pretty dry.
It's pretty dry to me.
So consistency is key. What does that mean? How often should you post videos? What's the right amount of videos, right? When I kicked up the YouTube machine again, 2.5 years ago. So in 2023, I'd have to look up the number for sure, but I'm pretty sure I posted about 120 full-length videos just in 2023. So if you average that out, it's one every 3 days, right? Roughly.
Yeah.
So what's the right number? Is it a consistent schedule? Is it just, I'm going to post every Monday night? Is that enough? No, I don't think so. Especially when you're getting started, right? So what is the structure of your videos? Say you're a review channel, or say you want to do reviews, right? Well, Are you just throwing bowling balls and just stepping all over the lane? What is the structure of it? Are you got to find your own way, and everybody does it different. Some people like to bowl and then talk about things as they bowl. Some people like to go over all the specs up front and then bowl. So there's no right answer, but there is a right answer at the end of the day with if the videos are being watched or not. That's it. That's what it comes down to. Are people watching your videos? If so, how long and how much? And what camera angles work best for you? This has changed for me over the years. Like it started with one kind of like up and to the right camera angle, and the lane level's pretty much been the same the whole time. But I changed over the years and I added a third camera. So find out what works best for you. It comes down to how much gear and how much investment you want to make. We're almost through this. Don't worry, Phil.
I'm fine.
Good.
As long as we're done before the Yankee game starts tonight, I'll be all right.
All right. Only a couple more. So
I'm teasing you.
yeah, and the consistency of the posting, like, okay, TikTok. There would be no way anybody can get going on TikTok posting once a week. It's just not going to happen, especially starting out. You need to post probably once a day at the minimum, right? Now, you don't want to post too much. Twice would probably be the most. But one shot or one video per day to get started. So another reality check here. What happens if your views suck? That's all we're out for, right? You want to get the most views on your channel because that means you're probably going to have more subscribers. People are going to tune in more often. They're going to come back and watch your channel. Keep trying new things, okay? The worst thing you can do is keep doing the same exact thing and expecting different results. What do we call that, Phil?
Insanity.
That is the very definition of insanity.
But I just did that. It didn't work? No. But I did it again. Did it work? No.
I'm posting all the time. But nobody's watching those other videos. Why do you keep posting the same thing?
The same thing, right? Exactly.
You got to remember, people are going to turn a blind eye if your thumbnails look the same, if your video content is the same, right? So you need to change it up. You need to try different things to experiment, because ultimately it comes down to your audience is going to dictate what your channel is. Now I'm going to say that again. Your audience is going to dictate what your channel is. If you want to make reviews, right? And say your reviews aren't getting traction. Say you're only getting 500 views on a video on YouTube. But say you start posting, I don't know, coaching videos. Say you start doing tips and tricks, and those videos are getting 10s and 20s and 30s of thousands of views. Hello? It's like you're not a review channel. People aren't watching you for your reviews. They want to learn how to get better. Give them more of that.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe later they'll get back into doing reviews and watching your reviews based off of that. Or incorporate coaching into your review videos, right? Figure out a way to feng shui that whole thing, bring it all together, and make it whole. Okay? So you need a hook, and it works on TikTok, works on YouTube, but on TikTok especially, or any reel for that matter, it could be Facebook, YouTube Shorts, whatever. You only have a few seconds to get that viewer not to swipe past your video, and you need to figure out what works, right? You need to get started with your video right away, and it needs to be something that they're interested in. Like, oh, what is that? Oh, what the heck, right? On YouTube, pay attention not only to views, but your average watch time. If they're not watching it for very long, then YouTube is not probably going to put that video out there for people to see. It's not going to recommend it on the feed, and people aren't going to see it as much. And poor click-through rate, CTR, can indicate a lousy thumbnail or an uninteresting title. Too often I see titles that are too wordy. They're not to the point. Maybe they're trying to do like a clickbait title or whatever that's just not relevant. But say on a review, if you don't have the name of the ball somewhere in the review or on the title of the ball or in the video, Google is not going to put that up anywhere on their search results because it's not seeing it as a very important video regarding that topic or ball, right? So be sure that you're titling your things correct, because a clickbait title might work for the first couple days when something's fresh, right? But if it's not searchable long term, it's never going to get repopped and repositioned into the flow of the algorithm, because they don't know what it is. They know that people watched it at first, but they don't know why. There's nothing searchable on it. It's just a clickbait title, and they watched it because they got duped. That's all it is. But if you make it clear and concise, hey, this is a 15-pound versus 14-pound comparison. Which is better? Okay, that title works. Now I know exactly what this video is going to be about, right? There's no question about it. And that's going to be something that people search forever, right? Because if you're a beginner bowler, not sure what weight to throw, it's probably going to come up in your search. And lastly, do you still want to be a YouTuber after all this that we talked about? Because here's the reality of it all. And this is the hard truth, is 1, not everybody is good at this. 2, not everybody's going to like you. 3, you might burn out trying so hard, and maybe you get somewhere. Maybe you see some success, some growth. Maybe you don't. And lastly, most creators will quit if they don't see instant results. That's just the way of the world. They want instant gratification. They say, I want to post this, and all of a sudden everything's just going to fall in my lap. Unfortunately, this is a long-term play. It takes dedication, consistency, creativity, and the sheer will to succeed. No one, if you're just going to say, hey, I want to try doing YouTube for 6 months, I got bad news for you. It's probably not going to work out for you.
What do you think the investment is? Cost, dollar-wise? Because you got to look at return on investment. So, you get paid per view, right? If it's a certain amount, you get X amount of dollars, right?
Not at first. You have to qualify.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
To even get to that point. So it could take all those 6 months to even get to the threshold where you would start.
And what do you think the investment has to be before you can start? And how long before you get your money back?
Well, I mean, that's the whole thing. That's why it's a long-term play. Say you're the guy or girl that went all in.
Okay.
And say that you spent $5,000 up front.
Is that a reasonable number?
I think if you're trying to do it right, and you want to get at least a good camera, a good lens, decent starting with that kind of stuff, and you can add stuff as you go, but just to get started, decent light, decent mic, right? Mm-hmm. This is assuming you already have the computer that can actually handle it, and you have the software you can edit it with, right? So, the costs are very front loaded.
Right.
It's not just something like, hey, I'm just going to start doing this. It's like you can budget it to a point, right? If you're just, say, your A-star personality, say your main character energy, people really like you, you can get away with doing it on your phone, right? There's one YouTuber that does car reviews, Doug DeMuro. He films all on his phone. So It can be done. It absolutely can be done if your personality is great and you make great content. But at the same time, that's not always the case. That's not always the scenario. Okay. So how long would it take to actually make all that back? If you were to say put 5,000 up front in a bowling scenario, it could, I don't know that exact, it could probably take a year and a half, somewhere in there.
So you see no return on that investment.
You're doing it for free
For a year and a half before you start to say, I broke even.
Right. To spend all those hours and all that time.
Yeah.
For it, it's a hobby at one point, right? So everybody's got to have.
It's a hobby.
Yeah. So, mind you, there's other ancillary costs.
I'm sure.
Bowling isn't free unless you have a really great relationship with the center.
Well.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to pay for your bowling.
Right.
All that software is not free. Some are subscription based to edit. That's not free. Your computer, hopefully you got a great one, because video files are huge and it takes a lot of memory to run these programs properly. Storage for your files, all this stuff adds up. So 5,000 is a low number, to be honest, to get started. And then once again, like the equipment, where are you gonna the bowling balls? You can do reviews on balls you already have. You know, we're not going to send you bowling balls just because you say you want to do reviews, right?
Right. I get that a lot, by the way.
Right. So you have, if you have bowling balls, do the reviews on the things you do, on the ones you do have. At least get it out there to see what kind of quality you can put out. What kind of video content can you put out? Are people watching it?
Yeah.
If you can put out a video a few weeks after a ball comes out and it gets thousands and thousands of views on YouTube, that's a good sign.
Yeah.
Because at that point, the bowling ball is a little bit more old news now at this point. But if you can engage people after the fact, that's huge.
Sure.
That's huge. Like getting stuff early isn't always the leg up that it seems to be, right?
Right.
If your videos aren't getting the traction, then you need to switch it up. All right. Questions?
I'm sure we have some.
Yeah, I have not been looking at the chat.
I've been trying to go through it, and there's a lot of good comments.
After the runs Nick comment, I kind of
that was it. You lost it, huh?
I was laughing too long. Oh man, it's hilarious.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because people just see the end result and not the work that went into it. And how to get to that level. The same thing when we do podcasts. I mean, we started out, winging it. We had a good idea. Let's do something once a week. And everybody said, it's a lot of work. You guys are crazy. I remember sitting in a meeting back in Muskegon when I brought that up. You're going to do one every week?
What are you going to talk about every week?
Yeah. I don't know. We'll figure something out. It's like a Seinfeld episode. It's a sitcom about nothing. But the point is, now we're at 117. We do pretty well. We're number one ranked podcast at 3:00 on a Wednesday afternoon. It's well, but it's a lot of work.
Talk about achieving your goals there, right?
Yeah, but I mean, we've had a tough week with stuff going on and ball launches and everything, but we started coming to the podcast. And I'm sure not every one of our podcasts are great. We do get some comments when they are good and they're informative. Yours was very informative. Makes me not want to be a staffer or a YouTuber.
Hey, this show is called Perception versus Reality, right?
Exactly. The perception is, look how great this is. Oh, yeah, staff is great.
Staff is great. We get everything for free.
Yeah.
Influencers are great. All you have to do is just post a video here and there, and then they'll send you everything you want.
That's right. And you know what? It's not that way. And there's a lot to that. And behind the scenes stuff. And I know you touched on, if you're a staffer, this is what you have to do. But here's the other problem. What happens if you get on staff and you realize you're not good at it?
Yeah. I mean, are you just going to write it out, or are you going to be honest and say, hey, this is
No, they're not going to be honest. They're getting free bowling balls. So what are they going to do? They're going to keep doing what they're doing and wait for the company to tell them no. And then when that happens, guess what happens? The relationship between you and the company gets destroyed because you're pissed off at the company because they said you weren't doing a good job, and you weren't doing a good job, but you weren't man enough to say, you know what? I'm sorry. I can't keep doing this. I'm not good at it. And now you got a bad relationship. So next thing you do, you're telling everybody how the company screwed you over.
Yeah,
and it
they
becomes
suck, and you should throw this other company now.
Exactly right. And you know what? It's nothing that we did. There's expectations. Now, you went in there with a blind eye thinking, that's not the expectations. I can just do this, this, and this, and we get free balls. And the company's sitting there going, wait a second. It's the same thing when we have staffers, PBA staff. They have certain expectations of them. And the next thing you know, they want to get paid more for doing less. And I'm like, well, that ain't going to work. So they go somewhere else. And now we're the bad guy because you didn't do your job. Right. And that's what happens in a lot of these projects that get taken on where people expect one result. And when it doesn't happen, it's everybody else's fault. You're just not good at it. Sorry.
It's accountability.
You
sign a contract. There's expectations.
Yeah, there is.
We're going to provide you with this. This is what we expect. It's all written out.
Right.
So when you fail to expect, to get those guidelines, when you fail to meet what you're living up to your end, then you're going to get called out for it.
Right. We have staffers. I have staffers down here that we see, and the guys down here and the girls that we have down here, they do a great job.
Right.
You know, they're
That's
out
why they're
promoting the
still.
product. That's why they're still on staff.
Yeah. All right.
You
So
know.
let's run some questions here. James,
All right, go ahead.
do you think it's easier for someone to be on staff first, then be an influencer, or be an influencer to get on staff? So here's my take on if your ultimate goal is to be an influencer, right? I suggest staying neutral. That's what I suggest. Keep your options open. You know, don't sign to a staff because if you think about it, right? I do reviews for Brunswick brands. Am I biased? Yeah, kind of. Am I going to be talking about these balls in a very positive manner? Yes, I'm going to talk about it in ways that, hey, this ball does match up to me. However, in a certain situation, or hey, this is better playing straighter, or hey, this ball's too shiny for me. I said that about your No Doubt Solid.
Absolutely,
right?
you did.
Yeah, I was like, I can't believe that this ball came out shiny. Why is this ball shiny? This ball should be dull.
Right.
For 90% of people throwing this ball, it's probably better dull, right? So, yeah, I think being an influencer that is not tied to a staff gives you a little bit more maybe credibility when you're trying to do reviews. So I'm going to leave it at that and go from there. So what do we got here? Dead polymers. This is why we have so many YouTubers doing one-take videos now. Editing is so time-consuming. Yes, it is. And that is an easier way to crank out more videos, I suppose. The only problem with that, it comes down to production quality, right? If you don't have something that's put together nicely, it's just kind of them throwing shots and talking for 10 minutes straight with not much fluff or not much change anywhere. It's just like, all right, well, scene one, you've seen them all type thing. Is it nice to have kind of like an uncut video? It's like, yeah, that's nice if they can talk and communicate what they're seeing and the changes they're making and all that. I don't know. One takes are cool. Let's see what else we got here. Miguel, the Whammy man. What format wise, what should a bowling resume look like? Should it be similar to a professional resume? Yes, absolutely. You know, talk about obviously your contact information up top. what center you bowl out of, what pro shop you bowl out of, or you work with, any kind of accolades, that sort of stuff. Keep it pretty simple.
You know, and again, staffers constantly, I'll get emails and say, you know, I love the product. I only throw radical. I'm bowling good with it. I'd like to be a staffer. There's not much exposure staffers in my area. Think about what you just said. There's not many staff. Why? You know, our sales guys, our sales reps are in charge of that area. Maybe that area doesn't have the volume of sales to support more than one or two staffers.
Right.
You know, it's got nothing to do with
saturation.
So yeah, it's you know, we could have 10 staffers in the town, and that's the 10 bowlers that are in the town.
Hey, at least it's 100% sales, right?
Yeah, exactly. You know, but now we're not selling anything. You know, we're giving it all away, so it's crazy.
Right. Don, is it views or subscribers that drive the algorithm on YouTube more? I don't think it's subscribers as much. I think starting out, you know, if you make a video that people watch and that people are engaging with, you know, if your watch time is great, if people are engaging with it with comments and driving a conversation in the comments, that's what gets the algorithm going and putting it on the YouTube homepage. So when it recommends it, when you open YouTube, those videos that pop up and then keep popping up on that same channel for new videos, that has nothing to do with subscribers. I truly believe that. I do believe that for the most part, subscribers are a vanity number, you know, and the other thing is subscriber numbers can be purchased. That's the bad part about this. Views can be purchased, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very easy to see through when you're checking the analytics and from third parties even. You can see from unusual activity where something has been fudged along the way. Because say if a company says, hey, if you have 50,000 subscribers, we're going to give you this. Well, now you just incentivize people to get to 50,000, regardless of how they get there. Now on YouTube, that's a huge number. That's a huge number. But say you have 50,000 subscribers and you can't even get 1,000 views per video. What is going on? Where are your subscribers? Why aren't they showing up and watching your videos?
Right.
Big red flag. So subscribers, not so much. It all comes down to how many times someone's going to click on your video and how long they're going to watch it for. That's it. If you do both of those well, you get people to watch and you get people to stick around, you're doing well. Here we go. Dave, don't you also have to know how to edit audio within the video? Yes, to an extent. If you set up your mic packs in a way that is putting you in the proper range when you're recording, then you hardly have to do any work on the back end. I hardly ever mess with audio configurations in post. So that just comes down to knowing your gear, whatever mics you're working on, and it's different for everybody. So, mine are set. My mics are set. I don't change them. But when Phil comes into town and we start recording videos, he talks at a different level than I do. So we have to adjust it, either in the camera or in the mic pack itself. All right. Let's see what else we got here.
I'm looking real quick
for the questions. And I'm only taking questions that are kind of, on topic. So, Joe, this one's for you, Phil. What becomes too long of a pre-shot routine? When you get people throwing cabbage at you from their pros.
Exactly. Let me tell you a story real quick. So 2 years ago, we were next to this team. And, when you're next to a team that's slow, you end up being slower because they're standing on the approach. You can't get on your approach. And we timed the guy. It was almost 5 minutes, almost, from when he got out of his chair, finished his 2 shots, and got back into his chair. And it was just like, how is it possible for it to take that long? So, if your pre-shot routine has to be short enough that it doesn't become making your muscles tense up and you're standing around, going through this process, because that's going to lock you up. But it can't be so short that you feel rushed. If you're thinking about what to do when you get on the approach, you missed your pre-shot routine.
Yeah, you should be doing that before you get up there.
Yeah. So, for me, I'll tell you what I do. Okay, so when the guy in front of me goes down the bowl, okay, and we're 3 steps down, I walk down like almost right behind him. And I'll stand at the table while he's making his shots. And at that point, I'm thinking about what I did last time, and if I need to make a change, what I'm going to do this time. Now, at that point, I'm committed to what I'm going to do before I stepped on the approach. Now I'm one of those guys that I don't wipe the bowling ball off. Just, I don't know why I don't do it. I just don't do it, unless it's your thing. So I don't have to worry about that part. I have a grip sack, my Yankee grip sack. I'll grab that a couple of times. And then at that point, I'm stepping up on the approach, already knowing what I'm doing. So here's what happens. I put my hand in the ball. I step on the approach. I look at my target. I look at my second target, the one down lane where I want the ball to go to. I draw my line in my head between first target, second target. I set myself and I go. That's my pre-shot routine. It's not long, but anything I did before that happened while my teammate was bowling before me and I was standing at the table. And that's when I thought about what I did last frame and what I'm going to do this frame if anything's different. And I'm not waiting, and I'm greeting him when he comes off the lanes.
Right. Same. Yeah. I'm similar way. Like when my fourth bowler is getting off the approach, he's walking off, I'm walking up.
Yep, exactly right.
Now it's a little different. I set up my camera, grab my chamois, wipe off the ball, yap a little bit, make sure it's my turn to go. Walk up there, yap a little bit more, set my feet, and go. Like I don't take a long time.
Right. I'm the same way. But again, everything pre-shot, anything I'm thinking about happens while he's on his approach doing his shot. After that, it's the same thing. A couple of grabs at a rosin bag, pick up my ball, first target, second target, set myself, deep breath, and go. you know.
John, recommended editing software. So I use Premiere Pro from Adobe. There's others out there. I know some people use CapCut. I have no experience with anything other than Adobe. I've been using Adobe Premiere since Adobe Premiere 2.0. So, yeah, it seems to be the standard. There we go. La 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 la. Dum dum dum. Yikes! I'm going through some of the comments. Here we go. Anything? Nope. Is there a time limit set for this podcast? Video started freezing a little bit. No, we are running a little bit late today. I knew we would.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'll go through comments. You know, I'll probably read them again.
Yeah.
As we go, because I didn't read any of them during the presentation that I did. So I think it's time that we just get to what we want to get to. What do you think?
I'm ready. You're going to pick a winner. I'm going to get the phone.
Yeah. So I'll go through and answer questions the best I can after the fact, but I hope everybody got some value out of this. I saw some good comments about that.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good one. It's a long one, but it took a lot because of the content. I know we had two topics. One was your league and one is your aspirations to be a staffer or an influencer. Anybody that still wants to be a staffer after that or an influencer after that, God bless you.
Check your head.
Yeah, check your head is right.
Yeah, it's I pretty much just woke up and I was like, I'm gonna make this as detailed, and it's basically consulting, right?
That's what it is, right? Yeah.
You guys want this? Well, we're doing it for free. We don't ask for anything.
Maybe we'll
I want another wave of good video producers out there. I want more influencers out there that can actually do it.
Sure.
That's the whole thing. Like, there's a lot of people in line. How about that? But not everybody has a ticket to the show.
Maybe we'll do a podcast on how to own a ball company.
I was thinking about doing that. I think about just retiring and then just having my own line of bowling balls, and I'll just market those on the side.
That's it. On the side.
Yeah, I'll just do limited runs. With my great relationship with Brunswick over the years, I'll just
just my own build.
If I had a bowling ball company, what would I name it?
Radical
version 2.0.
2.0.
More radical bowling.
More radical bowling. Can I help you?
Can I help you? All right, you ready?
All right, I'm ready. Who's the winner? Can you say the name?
Yes.
All right, good.
The last name is a little long, but I can say it. Ready? You ready?
I'm ready.
Winner, David Eckhart. David Eckhart, are you in the building?
David Eckhart. Clock is on you.
David Eckhart.
The clock
David
is ticking, David.
David, are you here, David?
David.
Your time is ticking, David.
David.
Don't be a no-show like last time.
Come on, man.
It probably ran long, and he's like, I'm out of here. I don't want to be a staffer. I don't even want to bowl anymore. I'm out. David Eckhart, where are you at? Has anybody seen David?
Well, David's running out of time. He has 40. He's got about 45 seconds left.
Oh, man.
We're going to have to pick another name, it looks like.
I don't want to. Oh, yeah.
Is he here? Is that him?
That's his email.
All right. Well, that's him.
I'm going to say that's him.
All right.
David,
you know the rules. We're going to spin. Then you're going to tell us if you want to keep it or you want to go for something else. If you get whammy, you enter into the Whammy Hall of Fame with everybody else that's been in there.
I was just hoping he was going to have a different name out there, and he says here, and I was like, all right, verify the number in your email.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, nice.
Yeah, I see. Nice.
All right, you know how it works. Avoid the whammy. And if you don't like your first gift, then you're just going to have to look a gift horse in the mouth and say no, and spit on our gift and say spin again. Good luck.
All
think I need like a balance on this thing. I need to check the balance.
You need to have it.
Test and tune. Take it down to a little Jiffy Lube.
What was the
Oh
name
no,
of that?
no,
No!
Here it goes.
Oh!
Almost a 3-ball Arsenal
Chamois.
chamois. All right, what do you want to do here? Do you want to keep the chamois, which is a nice chamois, great chamois, wonderful chamois?
It is a good chamois.
Or
Makes a nice chamois.
Or
go for.
Or do you want to
3-ball
detonate another spin
and risk Whammy? The
Sham-
Miguel.
from chamois to whammy. Is that what we're gonna try?
Chamois to Whammy. The Miguel.
He's gonna spin again. I know
He is. I know he is.
He's
I
not
can
gonna
feel it.
Come on, detonate.
Feel it. Detonate.
Spin. Okay. You heard it here first. Now there's no double chamois. If you get a chamois, you get a chamois.
That's it.
Here we go.
If you get a Whammy, you don't get the chamois.
Good luck.
Good luck. All right, here we go. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, nobody knows. Get away from the ball, little kid. Here we go. Oh,
triple tote.
triple
Nice.
tote, and they're in.
They got those in stock. That's a good win. That's
Well
3 weeks in a
played.
row.
Well played.
Triple tote.
Triple tote. We're giving away some good prizes for sticking around. It's worth it.
You were just 2 slots away from going from chamois to whammy.
Could have went chamois to Whammy.
Nice
All
win.
right. Well,
nice win.
I'll go through a lot of these like I do. I'm not. I can't do the YouTube ones. I'm not good at that.
Well, you can't answer those questions?
No, I can't get on there to do it. I didn't know how to do it. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if it's in the chat, it's going to be hard to answer those questions because the chat you can't really do anything about.
Right.
But if we did not answer your question on YouTube, go ahead and post it again as a comment in the main video.
Yes, and then I'll be able to answer it.
And I'll go back in there and answer the YouTube ones,
Yeah.
and the staff ones, whatever you got. Facebook, we'd be able to answer those, no problem. You don't have to redo it there.
No, exactly.
But that's it. That's all our show for today. Hour 40. It might be our longest podcast ever. Hour 47.
It was. You know, there's a rule of thumb on slides, by the way.
What's the rule of thumb?
You got to look it up. It's on YouTube.
That's the whole thing.
You sent me a text before he said he had 27 slides. I thought he was kidding.
Well, some of them were basically one slide, but it was 3 additions to the same slide. So it's still a lot of slides.
A lot of slides, but a lot of information. Good stuff.
Good information. Great content.
Yes.
Free to all of you.
Hopefully the Tamper Away kits will be back in stock for next week.
I hope so too.
And keep asking them for results on those tests for stuff that they made changes to. We'd like to know it.
Demand answers.
Keep the caring going.
Didn't get to use my pen today, but that's okay.
I know. Next week we'll do it.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Right. I'll see you guys. Good job, Nick.
What are we going to talk about? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. We'll come up with something because it's a show about nothing.
That's what we're good at. Nothing.
We're good at that. Maybe somebody, another organization will give us more news.
Hey, I like our odds.
Could happen.
Hey, maybe we'll have a PBA schedule next week to talk about. Wouldn't that be something?
I was looking for one today again. No schedule.
Does not exist.
No rules. We're ready.
Cool.
All right, guys. You have a good week, and we'll see you next week.